Smackdown review for the May 16th episode of Smackdown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
Almost did my little salute there as we're just signing off right away. Yeah, great episode of Smackdown.
Yeah.
I mean, just phenomenal stuff here.
This is really good. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. We love having you here. We'd love to have you on the live streams as well. But let's get into this. We start the show with Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and JC Mateo. That's what we're calling Jeff Cobb here on WWE television. That's a name. That's a name. That's a choice. That's a name.
Yeah.
Put it that way. But Solo comes out leading, right? Just like he kind of did during the Bloodline 2.0 phase. So Jacob and JC are on his sides, which was something to note because obviously Fatu is doing his own thing recently. You know what I mean? He said, please help me welcome the man who helped us keep the U.S. title, JC. When Roman lost, we lost everything. The family was ruined, and now I'm here to take it all back, and it starts with me winning the Money in the Bank. Anyone in my way, JC and Fatu will deal with them. Solo, and then Solo starts doing like all the Fatu stuff. He goes like from rope to rope. I forget what he says. From
post to post.
Post to post.
All gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes. And Fatu steals the mic. Fatu is like, hell no, you're not talking
that's
like
my stuff.
Yeah, that's my stuff,
that's
man.
My stuff.
And he doesn't necessarily like get pissed at Solo like directly. He doesn't start yelling at him, but he says, I told all you I'd win. I told you I'd do it with or without you, all gas, no brakes. And then when he goes to say the you know what I mean part, Solo has another mic and does it with him. And Solo's giving him attitude, basically.
I mean, Solo's hitting it.
Yeah.
Solo's off the screen at this point.
He nailed it.
So Fatu's like going to say it. Solo's off on the side and you hear it. And Fatu's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. And Solo just goes, everybody knows what you mean, Fatu. He goes, I love you, Fatu. I love you, Jacob. Everybody knows that I'm doing this just because I want to help you. And the title is proof of my love for you. That's why you have that title. But there's one thing I haven't heard from you lately. What didn't you used to say you love me a lot? Didn't you? What'd you used to say, Fatu? And Fatu looks at him and kind of gives him a very half-assed, I love you, Solo. And Solo's like, no, you didn't used to say it like that. You used to say it with some vigor and you used to say it proudly. And before that, before we end here, Solo and him do kind of like, Solo is like kind of, egging Fatu on to say it more, with more vigor and stuff. But then LA Knight shows up out of nowhere from behind. Well, his music hits, so they all look at the Tron. But LA Knight shows up from behind. He pulls out JC and starts to attack him, slams his head on the table a few times, and then just runs. He jumps into the crowd and absolutely books it. And that's how we end the segment. Honestly, nothing too special here, but it was good. I'll pop it.
Yeah, fun little segment. We talked a little bit about opening segments usually have their big stars, right? And this kind of just showcased to me like they're really still holding out some faith and some hope and really trying to make this be something. I mean, you have Fatu there, you got LA Knight there. Solo played his part perfectly as well. JC, I'm going to drop the name change. So I guess I'll pop the segment, but I'm dropping the name. That it just is weird. It is what it is. But the Fatu and Solo dynamic is still really, really good. It's crazy to see the amount of people that are behind Fatu. Like, I understand how great he is, but it still is somewhat early, right? For his WWE time. So it's awesome, though. I mean, it's fantastic. You got the clear face here. You got the clear, like, that's my family. I love you, but I don't want to say it anymore. It's almost like when you're in like a relationship and you're just like, oh, I love you. Yeah. This sort of thing. Like, he's just fed up with it, wants it to go away.
Yeah, Fatu is just waiting for the moment, basically, for whenever JC or Solo steps over too much of a line, and then we'll get that breakup. But more stuff happened throughout the night, so there's more to talk about when it comes to that sort of stuff. We would get our first Money in the Bank qualifier match. We were on the women's side here. We had Alexa Bliss taking on Chelsea Green and Miss Shannon. Before we get into this, if you want our full way too early predictions for the match card, we do have that podcast available on YouTube and podcasts, so go check that out. And one part about that podcast is both of us had Alexa Bliss on our card, but you also had Chelsea Green on yours.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the same match here. Only one can walk away.
Yep.
That that deleted one from you real
Tends
quick.
to kind of be the case, you know?
Deleted you real
Tends
quick.
to be the case when you do these way too early. You think, man, this person would be great. And then never fails. The first match pops up and you go, oh, well, not going to happen.
Yeah, before the match, we had Mishin and B-Fab were talking some smack to the Secret Hervis, and Chelsea was there, and then Alexa shows up in between them, so it was basically a big, like, we're all getting mad at each other, and Alexa was like, I'm just here to win a match, right? So we start the match, though, and Chelsea Green immediately gets booted out of the ring by Mishin, and then she tries to get back in the ring, gets booted out again, and then when she tries to get back in the ring once again, Alexa Bliss and Mishin kick her out of the ring. And then they do like a suicide baseball drop kick to her. But then eventually they end up on the outside of the ring, and Chelsea Green's like, oh, this is my time. And she does a suicide crossbody to both of them. So she gets her big revenge there. We get the long back attack that ended up hitting Chelsea and Alexa Bliss here. Eat the feet to Chelsea Green. 1-2. Alexa breaks that one up. We get a twisted Bliss to Mishin. So everything's going crazy right here. And when she hits the twisted Bliss, Chelsea Green gets in there and pulls Alexa Bliss off of Mishin, throws her out of the ring, picks Mishin up, hits her with the Unprettier, and then before Chelsea Green she's basically celebrating to the crowd. She hits the Unprettier and like does a sit up and kind of like celebrates. And while she's celebrating, Alexa Bliss pulls Mishin out of the ring, rolls into the ring, pops up, gives Chelsea Green a sister Abigail. 1, 2, 3. Alexa Bliss is the first one to qualify for the women's Money in the Bank. It does come at the expense of Chelsea Green not being a part of the match now, which is a decision that I don't really agree with. But this match was absolutely great. Alexa's got to be in there, popping it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that simple. You got to pop it. You had heard the rumors that she's going to make a big time splash or like a big time kind of return to TV after WrestleMania. Like they didn't really have a ton of plans for her then, but after Mania, you just kind of wait and see. Obviously, she had the pop of the night at the Rumble, and then she went into the Chamber as well, and people were picking her there. So it's just a matter of time. Like she's gonna get there. She's gonna get there. She's gonna get there. Welcome back with open arms. Obviously, it's Alexa Bliss. We've talked about her. Everybody talks about her. She's a fan favorite. Everybody loves her. She continues to show she can cut on the mic in the ring. She hasn't lost a step. She's got to be in that match.
Yeah, I mean, Alexa Bliss has to be in this match. She should be one of your favorites to win it. She should have been getting more screen time since Royal Rumble anyways. Like, we shouldn't have waited this long to get her on TV multiple weeks in a row. Obviously, there were the rumors about the Wyatt Six stuff, which who knows what's going on with that one. But I don't like that Chelsea Green's out of it. I thought Chelsea Green should be a part of the match. She's amazing in her own right. She obviously had the whole spots last year in the Money in the Bank where she got pushed out of the ring. She took a bunch of big spots last year and then all that stuff. But what are you looking
That's
at?
why you didn't. That's why you had her on your card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where the second you said it, I kind of had a rethought. I was like, the second you said it, she was a part of it. I was like, yeah, Chelsea does need to be a part of it. But
it just feels weird for her. And we can talk about that. I don't mean to hijack your thought here, but it's weird. She loses the U.S. title, and now she loses her qualifying match. Now there is a potential for her to be in like the third and final qualifying match. They just run back like the losers, basically. But it feels weird and feels like a real missed opportunity as of right this second.
Yeah. I'm very happy Alexa Bliss is there. I just also wish Chelsea was there. That's all it is. Let's move on, though. We had
Put them in separate matches.
Huh?
Put them in Stop putting all the fan favorites in a match.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Fraxium taking on DIY. Obviously, Fraxium is on this like crazy winning streak. That's kind of what their call up has been, and it's been fantastic. Love every second of it. Don't hate it at all. But they're coming off a win over the Street Profits, who are our current champions. They're taking on DIY after they attacked them backstage last week. And Fraxium would absolutely start hot. They were doing suicide dives, where they run back and forth and trade off between both DIY members on the outside. Ciampa was selling really cool. He was like backflipping over the barricade into the people while he's getting baseball drop kicked and all this good stuff. But when Axiom would eventually go for a springboard off the rope in the ring, Johnny Gargano pulls the rope down and Axiom misses and he's flat backs off of it. And that's when DIY gets all their offense in. They kill that man for like a solid 6 minutes of time. I mean, they beat the hell out of Axiom.
Into the commercial break, during commercial break, a little bit after. Just continuous.
Frazier would eventually get the hot tag, and he goes absolutely insane. He does that freaking springboard DDT that he does, inverted DDT that he does, which is absolutely insane. Eventually, though, Frazier would go for a springboard, and Gargano, being the man he is, he's ruining springboards tonight. He super kicks Nathan Frazier during it, and then DIY hits their finisher move, but Axiom breaks up that pin. We get all this good stuff going absolutely crazy. Hell breaks loose. Basically, it's a SmackDown tag team match. You know, if you watch one, you understand how crazy it is. Can't write everything down. It's absolutely impossible. But while Hell's breaking loose, Axiom ends up getting a roll-up on Tommaso Ciampa. And they steal a victory over DIY, but obviously DIY is pissed off. They start to attack Fraxium after the fact. That's when Motor City Machine Guns pop up, and they take out DIY. But the takeaway here is, after the match, we find out that on SmackDown next week, we are going to get Street Profits taking on Fraxium for the Tag Team Championships, and I couldn't be more happy about it. Fraxium absolutely deserves it. This match is going to be absolutely incredible, and honestly, I don't really care who wins. I think it's a win-win. Popping all of this.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it as well. I think maybe Axiom rolled up Gargano. Either way, I don't know. It doesn't matter. DIY here gets the loss. You knew as soon as DIY's music hit, you knew this match was happening. You're like, oh yeah, Fraxium's gonna win this match. You don't have them beat the tag champs and then lose to DIY the next week. A really fun match, really good match. Both of these teams, really anybody in the SmackDown division puts on a good match. They're fun, they're exciting, they're fast paced. They really get you into the show. But yeah, you look at Street Profits versus Fraxium, and people may say, why is that not on Saturday Night Main Event? Well, it's pretty simple. They're going to give this match a bunch of time that they don't have at Saturday Night Main Event. So they're going to give it to SmackDown. They're going to give it a ton of time. It's going to be a 5-star match. It's going to be fantastic. Like you said, I don't really care who wins it. They can win. They can do a little tug of war back and forth. Don't really care. Just we get this amazing match, and I'm excited for it.
I think this is like one of the best tag team call-ups in a long time. I mean, I was against them beating Street Profits in their match last week, but I get it. They booked it to where like Street Profits were banged up from their match beforehand, so they weren't 100% and all that good stuff. But like Fraxium just coming out, full on showcasing, giving them time. They're doing everything that they can in that ring, getting win after win after win, just catapult. I mean, talk about strapping rocket boots to their feet, and it's perfect, and it makes them look like absolute superstars. And we're to the point where we're a month into this, and I'm like, yeah, if they win the tag team championships, like, I'm not going to complain at all. You did the job, WWE. You did a good job. You have yourself a new superstar tag team on the main roster.
Yeah, and I would assume Street Profits get the win here.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like, Fraxium did just have those NXT tag titles for how long?
Worst case scenario, the Profits lose, and then we run it right back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, maybe those tag titles make it to a PLE for once.
Yeah, maybe. Jesus. R-Truth is having a sit-down conversation with Mr. Wade Barrett after, obviously, at Backlash. John Cena put him through a table in the post-game press conference or whatever they do now in WWE, and he says, basically, he's in denial. He says life is tough, and the pressure is always high when you're a superstar, and you can always depend on one thing, though, John Cena. You can always depend on never give up. You can always depend on that it's your time is now, hustle, loyalty, and respect, all this good stuff. So he's talking up John Cena, and Wade Barrett's like, what are you talking about? He just put you through a freaking table. Wait, do you understand understand what's happening right here? You won him the match, and that's how he repaid you. And Truth goes, no. Cena won on his on his own. The press conference, that wasn't John. The John I know loves me. He loves us. I do not want to fight John, but if I have to, I'll fight him and put some sense back into him. At Saturday Night Main Event, it is official. It is John Cena versus R-Truth. People are going to hate on this and be like, why? I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Saturday Night Main Event is sort of just a throwaway PLE for me anyways. This is like a year's worth of storytelling of just R-Truth always being this random big-time John Cena fan. This is just a feel-good match to me. I'm all for it. Pop the hell out of it.
Yeah, it might be a little bit longer than that even. I mean, childhood idol R-Truth's 50? So 40 years of being a John Cena fan. Yeah, you got to pop this. I know people probably aren't going to like it. People are going to say needs to be some more serious stuff here, but you get John Cena on a Saturday Night Main Event, maybe one of his last appearances on Saturday Night Main Event. I'm sure he'll continue to make those throughout the year, but you have him versus R-Truth. Childhood idol versus his idol here. It's going to be good stuff. It's going to be fun. John's going to go ahead and take the offense, and he's going to kind of destroy R-Truth. And R-Truth, I think, is going to, early in the match, be like, yeah, John Cena, John Cena, John Cena. But you saw in the interview tonight, there was a moment where he's like, if I have to fight him, I'm going to fight him. So I think we get that moment. I think we get that moment towards maybe the middle of the match where it finally clicks to our truth. Like, this isn't John Cena anymore. Then that's when John Cena gets the win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the first time within a match that we see John thinking about his decisions. Like we saw it after Backlash. He looked down at the belt and was listening to the crowd, and you could tell he was kind of thinking about everything he'd been doing. But we haven't seen that in the match. There's been no, he hasn't had any regrets during the match. I think this is going to be the very beginning to where if we do go the route of him slowly turning face again, this will be the first match that plants the first seed where there's going to come a moment where R-Truth's like on his, hands and knees going, John, I love you. Like, what are you doing, man? And John's going to have that moment of like, damn it, am I doing the right thing here? But then he's going to end up killing him, right? Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a good story. It's going to push the story forward for John Cena's heel run. And it's a throwaway match at Saturday Night Main Event, man. Let's have fun with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all know Cena's not losing the title at a Saturday Night Main Event. So it's like, this is honestly, with the tease after Backlash, this is the perfect thing to go into that. Like, am I doing the right thing? Just like you said, it's perfect.
Yep. We get a short Damian Priest vignette / promo. He basically says that him and Drew are just in a vortex of each other. He's caught in the vortex of Drew McIntyre, of him whining is basically what he says. He says that we need a conclusion. I want violence, and I want it inside a steel cage match at Saturday Night Main Event. We'll talk about that in a second because eventually Drew McIntyre does come out. But we first have Aleister Black and Mello with The Miz.
And Dre.
And Dre, of course.
They didn't really reference Dre tonight.
No, they did not reference Dre. Aleister Black would go for the Black Mass right away here. And then these two decided to have a banger match. After that, these two can wrestle. They're pretty damn good at this stuff. Mello would start distracting the ref, though, throughout the match so that Miz could get some attacks off here. They are a heel group. They do heel stuff. Eventually, Black would have a comeback here. He did like a top rope moonsault, out, like what Charlotte Flair does from the top rope to the outside on Mello, which is really crazy. Miz would distract again, and that's when Mello would start doing. Mello hit this like suplex, and then he popped right back up and did like a pop up and twist into a cutter, sort of like an RKO. They got a 1-2. Ooh, that was absolutely crazy, man. But Miz kept pushing too much. He like started to yell and get on the apron. The ref even walked over to the Miz, and it looked like he was going to do something about it. And while he was on the apron, Aleister Black pops up and kicks Mello into the Miz. So Miz falls off. Miz is hurt. And then he gives Mello 2 huge knees. The first one caught him. I don't want to hear
with that elbow.
Oh, is it the elbow?
Yeah, he turns and does that.
It was an elbow. I thought it was a knee.
Yeah, he did an elbow, and then he hits him with the knee.
He caught him.
Yeah.
He caught him on one of them. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And when he's down, Black walks over to do the foot thing where he picks him up for the Black Mass. But then Miz shows up and starts attacking Aleister Black. DQ, ding, ding. Aleister Black gets the win here. But Aleister Black's not going to let the Miz beat up on him. He gets the Black Mass on the Miz. But Mello does get the best of Aleister Black here tonight. He ends up hitting a top rope leg drop to the back of Aleister Black's
First
head.
48, I believe.
First 48 is what it's called. Yeah. Nails it, though. So, Aleister Black wins the match. Looks like Mello and Miz aren't done with them. We're getting just more of this. I'm going to go ahead and pop this. Am I interested in this feud? Yeah, I'm interested in the matches that can come out of the feud. I'm interested in watching Mello and Aleister Black fight. Don't know if I'm interested in the feud as a whole, but I like it so far. Popping it.
Yeah. I'm going to pop it as well. It's going to be a slight pop.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes with the understanding of like, okay, we're going to continue to get more and more matches between these two. So that's what I'm most excited for. The Miz kind of overstepping his boundaries. Obviously, that's going to lead to a Carmelo and him feud match, whatever you want to call it at one point. But just keep giving me more Aleister Black, Carmelo Hayes. This was fantastic stuff. It was really good. Maybe next time, maybe have the Miz kind of sit back. I don't want the Miz to overshadow the in-ring stuff because in-ring here is really, really good, especially for somebody like Aleister Black who just made his return. I would kind of like that to be the prominent point.
I also don't want the Miz and Mello to already have issues. And it looks like they're already having issues because Miz ended up screwing him here and got him the loss because, he got the DQ. So if we're already leaning that way, it's like, well.
And he screwed him again before, right? And that's why he got him Dre?
Yeah.
Is that what it was, right?
No, he got him Dre because he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was like,
But I think
congratulatory
Miz has
gift.
screwed him before or something.
That's what it was.
We've already kind of established this, and it feels like we're really gonna lean into it. So Mello Don't Miz probably ain't gonna be around very long here. We would get Alexa Bliss in the back, and she runs into Charlotte Flair, and she's like,
Moment of the night.
Moment of the night. Is that what you say? And Alexa Bliss is like, hey, give us any thought to what we talked about last week. And Charlotte's like, no, we're not going to be friends. And Alexa's like, okay, well, I just have respect for you. I feel like we could be beneficial here. But then as they're talking, door opens. Julia is now a part of SmackDown. Her and Roxanne had a little bit of a fallout on Raw after Raw last week. Looks like they're moving Julia over to SmackDown. That seems like a great fit for her. When she walks past them, Flair just looks at Alexa Bliss and basically says, "Stay out of my way." Walks into Nick Aldis's office for whatever's coming next there. So, little backstage segment, but big stuff here. Julia on SmackDown. That's big.
Yeah, big stuff. I'm very, very excited, especially with the growing kind of women's division. Like the women's division on SmackDown, it's pretty loaded. It's pretty stacked at this point. You find out later on there's a qualifying match next week. Julia, Charlotte, Zelina Vega. I mean, come on. That's going to be phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, I have no complaints about it. I mean, I do have a complaint about it, actually. I mean, I was a big fan of Roxanne and Julia being a tag team, especially because we have absolutely no women's tag teams on the main roster, basically, to challenge for Liv and Raquel. So I thought for sure we'd have Roxanne and Julia be that tag team to do that, but I'm also not mad about them splitting them off so that Roxanne can go be the newbie on Raw and Julia can go be the newbie on SmackDown. So I'm looking forward to what's coming.
And then when they both have their Money in the Bank, match, they're both in it and they both do the stare down. It's going to be like, yep. This is cool.
Drew McIntyre, he now comes out though to, I guess call out what Damian Priest said in his vignette, and he's hobbling. He's hurt because Damian Priest dropped him on his head.
And his legs are hurt and his back hurts and his neck.
He's had a rough year,
Mm-hmm.
He said, we have inflicted violence on each other. This Drew vortex that you say is the only reason that people care about you. I've tried to get rid of you forever. You are absolutely obsessed with me, and this is all about jealousy. I am better than you in every single way. You screwed me at Backlash, and you almost killed me. This must end. I'll see you in the cage. I guarantee you'll leave in a stretcher. So, it's official. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, steel cage match at Saturday Night Main Event. This should be really good. I'm excited about it. Popping it.
Yeah, you get the kind of throwback Saturday Night Main Event with the steel cage. I kind of hope it's the blue steel cage personally. They always do the throwback stuff with the throwback graphics, throwback graphic attire. Give me the throwback blue cage. Going to be phenomenal stuff. We all know this is the final match, the kind of blow-off match with these guys. As long as Drew McIntyre wins, I'm a happy guy.
I mean, you say it's a blow-off match, but if Damian somehow gets that win, we do have a blow-off match coming after that at some point. So I hope you're right. I hope Drew McIntyre just wins it. It should be really good. I mean, Drew and CM Punk obviously proved how good they can be inside of a cage. Damian and Drew should be able to handle that as well. Two big old men. I agree with you. They should bring back the blue cage. That'd be absolutely awesome. But I'm looking forward to it. Saturday Night Main Event needed some good old punch to it. And I feel like a steel cage match with these two is a good old punch, right?
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of like, I don't know, steel cage kind of feels like an excellent. Like, how are you going to be able to necessarily maybe top it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you don't want to go back into a Hell in a Cell again.
No.
And so it's like, well, this will hopefully be that, and then they can go off and do their own thing. Like, I'm a little tired of it.
Yeah,
in a sense, right?
I agree.
I'm just like, let's get a little bit different for these guys.
Let's get Drew doing something more.
Mm-hmm.
Money in the Bank qualifier match for the men tonight. It was Solo Sikoa taking on Big Jim, taking on Ray Phoenix. Solo came out with with his dope music. He came out with JC. God, it's gonna take me a while to get used to
Jacob.
And Jacob fought too, which logically, triple threat match, no DQ. Why don't they just kill everybody, pin, walk out? No? Okay.
Wants to do it on his own.
Right away, Solo tries to get Big Jim to team with him to take on Ray Phoenix. And obviously, Big Jim was like, what the hell you think you doing? Hell no. And then that's when Big Jim and Ray Phoenix are like, yeah, let's team on this guy. And they send Solo over the top rope, and like a fake scary scene happened. It looked like Solo got his wrist caught in the ropes, and Big Jim had to help him out of it. It looked like Solo was actually hurt there for a minute, but I guess it was just a good sell job. It had us all fooled.
I think he's hurt.
It had us all
I mean,
fooled.
I don't think he's gonna miss time, but it's one of those like,
Yeah.
you know,
Ow, ow, ow.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, when Solo eventually gets back into the match, he does pull Jim out to the outside and start slamming him on the announce table. And Rey Fenix would be like, "Nope, I'm gonna just crossbody both of you." So he's doing good stuff. Solo would get back in the ring. He'd get a spinning Solo to Rey Fenix, go to the outside, spinning Solo to Big Jim on the announce table. He was going absolutely crazy. There was this funny spot where Baby Nate missed a pin and everybody went wild on it. He didn't count when Rey Fenix was pinning Solo, but whatever. It's funny. Whatever.
He said sorry. What do you want the man? What do you want the man to do?
After the crowd goes, sorry. Everybody's booing. Everybody gets their offensive spots in here. It was a triple threat match where they went one by one, kind of doing all their greatest hits. Jim would eventually spear Rey Fenix and get the 1-2. Ooh.
Good spear.
That's when Fatu started getting involved. So we do get the Bloodline 3.0, whatever this is. They start getting involved. But when Fatu gets involved, he's able to kind of just get hit right away. Big Jim, I think, super kicks him or something. But then Solo spikes Big Jim. And when he spikes Big Jim, adios amigo from Rey Fenix. So he comes over and gets a jump on Solo and hits him. But then JC tries to get involved. And when JC tries to get involved, then you got Solo going over there and getting a spike onto Rey Fenix. 1, 2, 3. Solo Sikoa wins this thing. And then LA Knight shows up. And when LA Knight shows up, he attacks JC. Attacking JC. He gets on top of the announce table with a chair and he's kind of like sitting there in the middle of all of them. Nick Aldis comes out and he's like, "You've come out and you've attacked JC twice tonight. You want a match? We'll do it right now."
Mm-hmm.
So we get ourselves a match. But we'll back up before we go on to that match. Solo Sikoa becomes the first person to qualify for the Money in the Bank. Did not have that on my bingo card, if I had to be honest with you, but it's going to be great with the Jacob Fatu and JC looming around the Money in the Bank scene. This is going to be cool. Popping it.
Yeah, definitely not something I would have thought was going to happen here. But as I mentioned a little bit after the match, you look at the three people in this match, you knew none of the three were going to win. So it's kind of just a filler spot, right? You always also kind of need like a powerhouse guy in the Money in the Bank match. And it solidifies Fatu and JC doing what's best for Solo. Now, at the end of the day, Fatu and Solo might still bump heads, but Fatu still did what he could here to help Solo win. And I think that's the main takeaway here. You also have JC playing a key role. So while this was kind of shocking, I would say, I think we both picked Rey Fenix for this one as the match was unwinding or starting up. I'm happy for it. Solo was arguably probably number 2 on the MVP list last year. So it's kind of nice to get Solo some momentum, a much needed win for Solo here.
Yeah, that was my takeaway. It is a much needed win for Solo. It feels like Solo is finally doing something relevant again. It's kind of just felt like lately that he's just kind of been Fatu's wingman as Fatu's just stolen the show wherever he goes. This now gets him involved in something big that he is the main focal point of. The JC stuff and Fatu stuff being around the Money in the Bank is going to be crazy when that match comes because everybody else is going to be looking out for them. I'm sure Jacob Fatu will get involved in the Money in the Bank match, or whatever he's going to do in a Money in the Bank briefcase match is going to be absolutely insane. But you always have the idea of like Solo could win and cash it on Fatu. No, it wouldn't happen. But that's probably going to be brought up at some point by somebody maybe. It's going to be interesting. I'm glad Solo's a part of it. I like it.
Yeah, I still don't think I don't think Solo has a real chance of winning, but realistically, let's say hypothetically he does win it. You got the Jay Gunther match on Raw after Gunther beats Jay. Solo could cash in for the family.
Yep.
I mean, that could be a whole thing that could be mentioned once or twice. Like, hey, well, Jay has this match. If Jay ends up losing, I'll do this for my family. Or maybe he still doesn't consider Jay family. Like maybe he doesn't consider Jay part of the bloodline. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's nice to have a story revolving around the Money in the Bank instead of just like, well, I want that so I can go fight the champion.
Yeah, right.
You know?
LA Knight, JC Mateo. So we're just rolling right into it. We go to commercial break. We come back and here we go. We're fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And this was slow. Not going to lie about it. It was JC, Jeff Cobb's, WWE debut. And obviously we were all excited about it because he is phenomenal. If you want to go watch his matches, please do on YouTube. You can find a bunch of them. He's fought a bunch of the greats that you would think of that are still wrestling to this day. But this one was really slow. There weren't a lot of highlights, weren't a lot to talk about. I mean, it was basically JC's big, strong, and LA Knight's trying to bring him down, trying to chop the tree down. There was a cool spot where he did a belly to belly suplex to LA Knight over the top rope and threw him right out to the outside. That was fun.
Yeah, you also had that cool slam and then into the standing shooting star or standing moonsault.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, standing shooting star press. I mean, he did all this. He did some fun stuff, but I mean, this match was long, and so we got like 2 or 3 highlights from him. They picked a guy in LA Knight that they weren't gonna squash, so LA Knight had to put up a big fight, and because of that, it felt like we didn't get to see the full force of what Jeff Cobb can be, because they obviously didn't want to squash LA Knight as well. But eventually, he gets a what they call it, tour the island. It's like he picks LA Knight and does like a swirling scoop slam is what I kind of labeled it as, but that's what it's called, the tour the island. And JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, gets his first win here on WWE programming. It was a slow match against LA Knight, but he's here, he's ready, he's a part of this Bloodline 3.0 mess. It's going to be good, but I'm actually going to give this match a drop. It was just too slow for me. I'm sorry to do it, but man, it was slow.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop this one as well.
Hey,
it was a little long. It's interesting, and I know WWE does this for a reason. So let me preface this by saying that. But they made Fatu be so dominant and be so powerful that you're like, man, this guy, I should really care about this guy. And now Jeff Cobb has this match. They don't do that, and so it's like, well, why should I care about that? And I understand the differences. I understand that's there for a reason. I get it. But you have him going against LA Knight here, who LA Knight's kind of started to lose some steam a little bit here. And you're like, well, what's kind of next for LA Knight sort of thing? He's not the athletic guy that can really kind of sell for the powerhouse guy that we love seeing that really works well. So it was just a little slow. Even at times the crowd with the punches and stuff like that, they didn't seem to really get behind it. It's just kind of a thing where JC kind of stuck his nose in multiple times, and LA Knight also did that. And you're like, okay, but why should I care, sort of thing. Nice to see Jeff Cobb on WWE TV wrestling. Nice to see LA Knight, but just wasn't a good mix tonight.
Yeah, I'm very happy JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb is here in WWE. I'm very, very happy, and I'm only looking forward to stuff. This isn't going to draw me back at all from my interest in him, but like, I just feel like it was a bad first match. It really was. You picked a guy that can't be shown as weak. So you can't just have Jeff Cobb go out there and just destroy him and show off all of his fun moves and kill this guy and make him look like the absolute, brute that he is. Kind of like what we did with Jacob Fatu. So if you give LA Knight out there and you have to give him a bunch of offense, it turns into a long, slow match. It just wasn't as much of like a, wow, I'm really hyped about this guy once the match was over. But don't give up on him. He's going to be fantastic for the Bloodline 3.0. It's going to be great.
Yeah. And like I said, they did it for a reason.
Yeah.
I get that. But it's also one of those things that you don't want people, you want people to dislike people. You don't want people to not care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Completely agree. We did get qualifying matches were announced for last week. Let's do a quick prediction on them. So women's is Charlotte, Zelina, and Julia. Who do you got winning that one?
Julia.
I also have Julia. And then we also have LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Aleister Black. Who's winning that one?
I'm going to go LA Knight.
Yeah, I'm also going to go LA Knight.
I'm definitely not picking Shinsuke, and I think Aleister Black's going to be tied into the Carmelo Miz stuff some way, somehow.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe they screw him out of it, and then LA gets the win over Shinsuke.
Definitely not picking Shinsuke to win it. Aleister Black is in the Miz stuff. I feel like LA has to be in it because he's always a favorite when it comes to Money in the Bank. And then Julia over Charlotte and Zelina because Zelina's already got a title, and it feels like Charlotte's leaning toward Alexa Bliss stuff, Jade stuff. Don't win the Money in the Bank, please.
They don't really know what to do with Charlotte. I would say they don't have a clear path.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank could solve that.
Yeah.
But oh god, you thought it was. She wins the Rumble and she loses and then she just wins the Money in the Bank. That sounds like ass.
Hot ass.
Could you imagine?
No.
Could you imagine?
No.
Oh god,
no. Women's. We got ourselves a big time main event here. It was Women's World Heavyweight Champion Tiffany Stratton taking on Nia Jax for what was going to be their final solidifying match in a feud that's been taking place for 4 months now, 5 months now, something like that.
Cash-in was 4 months ago.
Yeah. And match started out with they know each other very well, obviously. Eventually, though, Tiff would try to charge Nia. Nia would move. Tiff would hit the post. Nia would get to the outside on the ring apron and do the tribal cheeks directly to Tiffany, whose head smashed into the post. And you could hear the dunk. That was a big one. I mean, she destroyed her head. And then she does a Super Samoan drop off the top rope and dominates Tiffany for most of this stuff. Eventually, the match spills out. Tiffany goes on top of the barricade and does like a Hurricane Rana to Nia and sends her into the post off the barricade. That was sick. Tiffany Stratton's pretty good at this whole wrestling thing. She does a spine buster, all this good stuff. Nia would have this spot where she would do a one power bomb and then pick Tiffany up and then hit a sit down power bomb and then run the ropes and hit a leg drop. If that was Hogan, that's 3, but it's Nia Jax and it's 2. Eventually they would go to the top rope though, and I don't know what Nia was going for. It looked like she was gonna like slam her or something, but Tiffany reverses it. They both go spilling out onto the mat, and they're both laying there. And that
was close.
Yeah, it was close. Oh my god! And then boom, Naomi's music hits, and Naomi comes out with a chair. She's gonna do something. Rah rah rah.
Yeah, and it should be noted she's been in the background
throughout the night.
All throughout the night.
Yeah.
Nia Jax, like walking to the ring, she was there. Tiffany and Jade had a little backstage promo. Naomi was in the back there too.
Yeah, so she's been stalking all night. She comes out with a chair, but Jade's there. She comes out with a boot. She boots Naomi right in the face with it, and then sends her over the barricade, and they just go into the crowd. That's the end of them for the night.
That's it.
They go. Bye-bye.
That's it.
Tiffany would hit a moonsault and get the 1-2. Ooh. We thought that was going to be the big 1-2-3 because it happened right after the run-in. Clock was...
That's what always happens.
Yeah, clock was striking midnight. We're like, oh, that's it. But no.
Turn it into a pumpkin.
Turn it into a pumpkin. Tiffany would go back up to the top rope to hit another moonsault, but Nia would pop out and just shove her off the top rope. And she spilled. I mean, just nailed the ground. Nia would clear the announce table, hit a Samoan drop on it to Tiffany, throw her into the ring, go for the Annihilator, but Tiffany would pop up, and it looked just like Queen of the Ring last year when Lyra popped up and tried to get her to power bomb off the Annihilator, but Nia annihilates her anyways. Same thing happened here. So Tiffany gets hit with the Annihilator. Brutal. 1-2. Tiffy grabs the rope, which now I'm thinking like everybody who ever takes the Annihilator, like the rope is right there. Grab it.
Usually they're not
alive.
So close to the rope.
Yeah, she was.
Usually they're a little bit farther out.
Yeah.
Which is why that looked so brutal. You're like, Jesus Christ.
When Tiffany grabbed the rope, Nia gets pissed. She gets out of the ring. She grabs the belt. She walks away. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And the ref's like, no, don't leave. And Nia's like, you know what? Screw it. She grabs a chair, goes into the ring. And as she slides into the ring with the chair, a wild Tiffany comes and drop kicks the shit out of the chair directly into her face. Nia's bleeding. She gets cut open immediately with it. And then Tiffany goes up, prettiest moonsault, 1, 2, 3. Tiffany Stratton defeats Nia Jax, which should solidify this feud. She remains the champion. We got some Jade running. We got some Naomi running. So these four are still clouded around each other. But man, oh man, this match between Tiffany and Nia was fantastic. Popping it.
You have to pop this.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can't. Yeah, when Nia's walking around, she drops the title. Ref carries the title back. So that's why the ref's distracted. She brings the chair in.
Gotcha.
So that's when she brings the chair in. And Tiffany, I don't know why, but Tiffany throws her drop kicks. She always does. And she threw it, busted her open immediately. Match was fantastic. I would say this match for Tiffany was better than her and Charlotte at Mania. A lot more fun, a lot more invested into it, a lot more like, okay, these are former friends. And Tiffany took the opportunity. And now we finally get to see the resolution that's been building for so long. Really, really fun stuff. You sprinkle in the Naomi Jade stuff, so clearly that's still there around Tiffany, and maybe Nia's involved, maybe not. I don't know. Who knows now at this point? But just really fun stuff in a women's division that it's nice to see the title being defended on SmackDown. It's happened a few times for Tiffany now. Just great stuff. Just a fun main event. I know the show is a little long. It's 3 hours. It can be tough to get through, but something like this at the end, you're like, you know what? That's a good send-off.
Yeah, Tiffany's fantastic. I love this feud. I think the Tiffany-Nia stuff has been great for months and months and months, and this should cap off their feud. It's a perfect match to end it. You have Naomi, you have Jade run in there. Those are people that Tiffany with this title should run into down the line. They go and scurry off throughout the match, but my takeaway from this is like the SmackDown's women's division is absolutely fantastic right now. Like Tiffany Stratton being your champ is the perfect champion. She can absolutely throw down in the ring. And then just all the up-and-coming people and just the roster that you have on there, the Charlottes, the Alexas, Naomi, the Jade, the Nia, the Julia now, the Chelsea, the Zelina. I mean, just keep on going with it, man. SmackDown's in such a good place. This match was such a great match. Your champion's a great champion. It's Tiffy time, man. It's great. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not much else to say, man.
No,
It ended on a spectacular note.
Yeah, and you think about like you said, the women's division. You look at the two, and you're like, SmackDown is destroying it with their women's division. I would like them to give more time to the women wrestlers, especially with how many there are now. You're like, well, I want Julia to get a bunch of time, but I also want Alexa Bliss there. I know people are upset at Charlotte. It's still Charlotte. You got Chelsea Green. You know, you can go on and on and on and on and on, and there's no shortage. It makes you think it makes you think there needs to almost be a draft to kind of divvy up some of the people.
It's fantastic. We gave this SmackDown 16 pops to 3 drops, and I feel like that's what it was. This was a very, very solid episode of SmackDown. It's hard to make 3 hours feel good and fast. This one tonight felt pretty good, so that's a good thing. And it felt really good, and it was really fun watching with all of you guys on the live stream, youtube.com/@CodWrestlePod. We do Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs. We love to see you guys there. And then, of course, for everything else, it's @CodWrestlePod. We have ourselves a link tree. It's got all of our socials and all of our links in it. Go ahead, follow, like, subscribe, share all those as well, because we think that you guys would love this type of wrestling content. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.